Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group. Chilling with your co-host that be bringing the most, Angela motherfucking Hiley.
That's nice.
It was a good one. That was smooth that time.
Yeah. You were
I didn't
smooth.
miss a beat.
Why are you looking at me
So
like
are
that?
you going to ask us what tonight's topic's going to be?
Please stop. That does not need to happen every time we do a podcast together.
No, you asked me on the way over here, though.
Shush.
You were like, so what are we going to talk about?
So sometimes I get in the habit of repeating myself.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. And with us, this whole moving thing and stuff like that, it's almost like done. It's like we're almost, getting ready to leave Ohio. And one day, John got a little irritated with me. I was like, listen, you'll probably find me repeating myself and asking some of the same things over and over again. And I'm not doing it intentionally. This is a big thing we're doing.
I'll be like, damn, girl, you sound like a fucking broken record around here.
It's totally out of my comfort zone. So it's almost kind of like a weird, self-soothing thing I'm doing with myself.
She's like, hey, John, is everything going to be okay?
No, I don't ask you that.
We've got a place to stay down there, don't we? We still do? Okay, good. Good. I'm glad we still do.
Oh, my God. Stop.
We're actually going to be
Not that.
staying in an Airbnb for the first 30 days.
Yeah, that'll be nice. It'll be interesting.
It's a nice Airbnb, though. It's a house. It's in Frisco. Really, when I was looking through the Airbnb, it was hard to find one up there in either Frisco or Plano. And ideally, them are the two cities or any little surrounding suburb I wanted to be in. Because Airbnbs are kind of fucked up, guys. I don't know if you realize this, but you can rent one that looks really nice. But let's just say it's like in inner city Dallas.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss whether or not it's going to be like some really nice house somebody fixed up in a really fucked up neighborhood. Now, I can actually get along. We could actually fit in them neighborhoods, believe it or not.
But I don't want to.
I don't want motherfuckers breaking into all my cars.
Yeah.
That's the big thing when you go into inner city neighborhoods that you got to watch out is people breaking into your shit.
Yeah.
Especially, drug addicts that are just walking around trying to find change and all whatever else, just trying to steal stuff in people's cars.
That's true.
I mean, that was a big thing. That's a big thing over in the city that I grew up in, which is Piqua. A guy that I know over there, he doesn't even lock his cars anymore because he knows they'll fuck it up trying to get in it. So he just leaves his car unlocked and lets them get in there and steal change.
Yeah.
I ever tell you about the guy that I caught stealing change when I was a manager at a car wash?
Yeah, you guys put a roll of quarters, but you put a certain indentation.
Yeah, we took a screwdriver and we etched X's in on the quarters because I knew this motherfucker was stealing. I'll tell you what got us. There was a lady that came in.
Oh,
and,
this is
yeah, there was
sad.
an old lady that came in and she had a $20 bill that was in her ashtray. And she came in crying about the person that stole it because her husband, who had passed away, was the very last thing that he put in her car. So literally, this lady came to me that I'm like, these motherfuckers. I'm like, I want to find out who's fucking doing it. And I kind of knew because I seen some of them walking around with all this change and shit in their pockets. I'm like, you motherfuckers are doing something. They would claim that they went and got it out of the... Because what these guys would actually do, they would vacuum the shit up and then go to the dirty vacuum thing and then dig through it and get the change. That was one way they stole it.
Yeah.
And the next way they stole it was just to grab the shit and put it in their pocket.
Yeah.
So I had a really good idea of the dude who stole this lady's $20.
Wasn't his name Doug?
No, his name was Tubbs. Everybody called him Tubbs.
Tubbs, okay.
And I remember specifically Tubbs was running from... the California police because of his child support issues in California.
Oh.
So he had
okay.
kids in California, and he never paid a dime of child support.
Oh.
And he was like, well, I'm never going back to California because I'm fucked if I go back there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that child support shit can be like a felony pretty much if it gets to a certain level. So I ended up, I knew that he was up on a car. I knew it was his turn because that's how everybody works. They just kind of rotate. And as soon as I knew he was up, I took a bunch of quarters and took a screwdriver, put all these X marks on them, threw them in the ashtray, and had a car sent through. And he got finished with the car, all that stuff, and I'm just standing over there in the building, and I wait till he gets the customer and client, and I say, hey, Tubbs, come here for a second, man. Okay. Hey, empty your pockets. Get over here and empty your pockets. I had him empty his pockets all out on, it was in our little detailing shop over there.
Did his, what was his facial expressions like?
Oh,
Did
he
his
was
face
like, he
get
was scared
red?
shitless.
Oh,
he
he
was
was?
just like, oh, okay. He emptied all of his pockets and went and looked through them, and there were all the quarters with the X's on them. So that was the one thing he couldn't talk his way out of. I'm like, well, I threw them in the ashtray, man, and you stole them.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't talk his way out of it. I actually, got his ass. But that's fucking sad, man. There's people that just never understand. He lived a shitty life. And they just never understood that, like, that was why they live a shitty life. Because they were
Yeah, but
always
he
fucking
knew better.
scheming.
Like, in all honesty, like, deep down, he
Of
knew
course,
what he
that's
was
why he
doing
lived.
was
That's
wrong.
why he lived a shitty life.
Yeah.
Is because he knew he was going against his own moral code or compass or whatever. You know, if he did have morals. I think we talked about that on the last podcast. We talked about how the 1% of the population is a psychopath.
Yeah, but don't you think they have some type of morals? They just don't want to listen to them.
Actually, I don't think so. If you're a psychopath, you don't have any. Yeah, you've got to almost pretend to have them. That's the whole deal with psychopathy. And what if you like search narcissist, psychopath comes very fucking close. Like it looks a lot like narcissism.
Yeah.
And I just wanted a deeper understanding. But narcissists, they really get hurt because they actually have, they actually have hatred for who they really are, like who they actually are. So they create an image, and a lot of them are fucking good at it, man. Like
Yeah,
these
you'd be
people,
surprised.
you'd be surprised the people out there that are rolling out these nice shiny images and acting like everything's perfect, like who the fuck they really are.
Yeah. There's some greedy bastards.
They some
Greedy.
greedy motherfuckers out
They
there.
are. They're greedy bastards. They definitely are some greedy bastards. But you know what? The way I look at it is karma's a bitch. And it catches up to you.
Yeah.
So I think that's like one of the biggest lessons that I've always learned in life is, we've been screwed out of money before, and I think over the years, as you get older and you're maturing and you're growing and you're working on yourself, you're just like, those fuckers are going to get what's coming to them one day. It might not be the next day, it might not be a couple months, but hey, give it a year or two. Bam.
People who act as if they're the least greedy and they are the most giving, and the ones that act like that are the ones that are the most fucking greedy deep down. And I personally think that's because they've got to overcompensate for their true feelings. They've got to overcompensate for who they are. Like, I've never stepped on here and fucking lied and said I didn't want to make any money from any of you guys. I want to make money from everybody out there, as you all should too.
Yeah.
I want to make money from each and every one of you because I believe money is an exchange of value.
It is.
It is not bad for me
think
to
that's
say
like-
that I want to make money from you.
No, and I think that like what people get it all twisted, they're always like, money is the root of all evil. And I'm like,
No, it's
money is an object. You know what I'm saying? It has no feelings. It has no like, I'm going to tell you what to do.
No,
Like, you'd be looking
if
at a
you-
$20 bill and the dollar bill starts talking to you. Like, no, it's the person. It's the person. Like, when they get something, when they have that money, they can, it's that individual.
Here's where people get confused. That's not the biblical quote. The biblical quote is not the money is the root of all evil. The biblical quote is the love of money is the root of all evil. Meaning that, like, here's the thing, guys. Like, money is an inanimate object. It's a value certificate.
Yeah.
You're supposed to love the person you're serving for the money. You're supposed to give the love to the client for the money. Both of your lives are meant to be elevated with the exchange of money. That money is an inanimate object. It does nothing on its own. It only has value by service of other people.
Yes.
But just like anything has good, it could be used for good or could be used for bad.
Yeah.
A gun could be used to protect your family. A gun can also be used for a school shooting.
That's true.
Okay? So it depends on the individual's intentions that's yielding such object, okay? Which yielding this inanimate object. And but that's the biblical quote. I mean, money makes an amazing servant. It makes a terrible master.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes a terrible master. When you start, when you find yourself doing things only for the money or thinking
even over
about
like objects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even over objects.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean.
Over objects.
Over objects. Like, okay, so I'll tell you all a story. So my mother gave me this furniture.
Oh, there we go. Hold on, we're at the segment of the show where we go, bow, 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 money, mommy issues.
It is what it is. Listen, it is what it is. I've tried to fix it.
Most women have mother issues, guys. This is what I'm finding. Guys and gals.
Yeah, I tried.
You gals are shaking your head.
Tried to fix it, and it was stressing me out more than anything. So I'm like, you know what? I just have to accept the way that this woman is.
Yeah.
And I just don't think she's going to accept me for the way that I am. And I just have to love her from a distance. And I think a lot of people run into that shit,
Well, her mom's like one of them hoarders, like hoarder people.
Well, here's the thing.
Remember that TV show, Hoarders?
No, it's not that bad.
Like there was literally somebody on that TV show
It's not that. It's not.
that couldn't get rid of a dirty toilet seat that was in their yard because it was too important to them.
Okay, so here's the deal. So my mother gave me this furniture that was my great-grandma. So my great-grandma passed away.
20 years ago, by the
20
way.
years ago, okay? I was 21. John and I were living in a little apartment in Piqua, Ohio, and she gave me this furniture, and Jonathan was just a baby. So she gave me this furniture, and over the years, the shit broke. It fell apart. So what do you do when furniture breaks?
Hey, y'all know why the bed broke.
You you throw the shit away, right? And plus, I already looked, because they were saying it's antique and all this kind of stuff. So I looked into it, did some research on the stuff, because if it was worth some money, I was just going to sell it. I don't care what people say, but I was going to sell it because it was breaking down. It wasn't doing the job that it needed to be.
It was starting to get gorilla glued and shit like that.
Yeah. So over the years, certain pieces of this bedroom suit had been thrown away. And when my mom found out that John and I were just getting rid of everything, she
wanted it back.
She wanted the furniture back.
She wanted the furniture back, the shit that was thrown away.
Yeah, she wanted the stuff back. But the thing was when she called me, she kept repeating herself over and over again about this furniture. I said, listen, Mom, there's only two pieces left. There's a dresser and there's two dressers and that's it. And I was like, they're both falling apart. I know this gal, she wants to refinish them or whatever. And, yada, yada, yada. And I was just going to give it to her. And she's like, well, I was talking to your aunt, and we need to keep this in the family. And I'm like, why do you want to keep two pieces of broke down furniture in the fucking family?
And hoard it in her house somewhere.
Exactly. But the moral of this whole thing, when I say objects, is because my brother and his wife had previously came down a couple weeks prior because they bought all our patio furniture. Well, she wanted to come down with them, and my brother said no. And then she calls me when we're in Texas and starts talking about this furniture. And I'm like, she never really cared to come down to see me. Maybe a little. But her priority was this broke down furniture.
She's going to get that furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up and the reason why I say it's fucked up is because as being a mother myself, I I would never in my entire life do that to my child at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, who in their right mind gives somebody furniture? 20 years go by, and all of a sudden, out of the blue,
They want all the shit back.
we need this furniture back because we got to keep it in the family. That's fucked up. That's just fucked up. There's just no way, like, there's no right way of, like, trying to, it's fucked up.
Hey, that's why I don't even talk to my family.
So I figured, you know what? I just need to take a timeout, a break from my mom till, like, it, cools down. Because she was a little pissy on the phone. She was pissy, and then she started crying over broke down furniture. So that shows you, like, how, when there's dysfunction in a family, and when one person works on themselves, but the other person doesn't want to. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're just
Well,
like...
that happens in business, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens in business, too. That's a big problem with business partnerships, when one person dramatically works on themselves and the other person stays the fucking same.
Yeah.
One of my mentors, that happened to him, where he was in a business partnership, and he told me this story about his business partner, and it just made us shake our heads, or made me shake my head when he was telling me. He literally said that him and his business partner, they were in an automotive field, not the one that some of you guys follow me for, but a totally different automotive field. But I'm going to try to keep this as non-detailed as possible. But anyhow, they went to like a conference where they could explore some of the new things that were coming out in that industry. And he said literally his business partner went to every single table and took all the pens and all the notepads people were giving away. Like, filled his fucking bag full. Like, would walk up to a table, they had 50 pens, would grab all 50 pens and stick them in his bag. And my friend who told me about this would look at him. He literally looked at this guy and says, "What the hell are you doing? Like, why are you taking everything from every one of these booths?"
Was he taking one pen?
No, like all of them. Like, if a booth had 50 pens out there on the table, he would go grab all 50 pens.
That's being greedy. That's being...
And would walk literally from booth to booth to booth doing this shit. And that's when my friend, who had told me about this situation, realized that there was no changing this guy.
Yeah.
So my friend and mentor that was telling me about this situation realized, like, he had spent all of this time, like, going up and up and up and up and up and becoming just like a better human and working on himself and being part of mastermind groups, being part of coaching, learning all this stuff. But his business partner just stayed as the exact same person.
Yeah.
No, now it kind of reminds me, I know some of you guys could probably relate to this. Like, you got that friend who you run into from high school that is exactly the fucking same from when you left him in high school.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. It's hilarious. I was in the gym probably about 10 years ago, and a friend of mine from high school came in. And literally, this dude, from the expressions on his face to how he was laughing and all this, was exactly identical from when we were in high school, right?
Yeah.
So he comes up and we're talking, and this was back in the day. I used to go to this YMCA up in Troy, Ohio, which is probably about 30 minutes north from here. But we're in this YMCA, right? And he comes over to me in the gym, and it's kind of like an open gym where they got like all the equipment on one side,
I know
and they got
story.
the elliptical machines on the other side. So he comes up to me and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "You see that girl up there on the elliptical machine?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's my ex-girlfriend. That's why I'm here." And I'm like, "Oh, really? That's interesting. It's your ex-girlfriend, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, some dude fucked her and we broke up." He goes, "But I'm here because she's dating him, and I'm gonna take her home and I'm gonna fuck her." And I'm like,
What a douche.
I'm like, that's actually at that point I was like, that's a pretty good idea, And so he tells me, he's like, "Yeah, I know, right?" So anyhow, we're lifting, right? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, well, the guy, obviously,
That Scott guy.
Yeah, his name's Scott. But obviously the guy, he was dating a girl, and then some guy fucks her. So then he's just trying to get revenge, and he's trying to, now this girl's dating this guy, so he's trying to like get revenge by fucking this.
That doesn't make it right at all.
Well, but I mean, I can get that, right? I can understand that, okay? But I'm gonna go on to the second part. I'm going to this part 2, okay? So we're over there lifting, right? And there's a couple of females in the gym and stuff like that, and I'm done lifting, and Scott walks over to me again. He goes, "Hey, man," he goes, "See that girl over there?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "I could see right up her shorts." And that's when I knew he was the exact same Scott from like fucking 15 years before that.
How old was he at the time when this had?
He was probably 33, 34.
Really?
He was a little bit older than me, even. He was a few grades above me.
So he's probably like mid 40s now.
And I bet he is exactly the same.
That's disgusting. That's like a fucking.
Oh, and
creep.
he was on. And
That's
he
a
was
creep.
on. And he was on probation at the time, which was even more hilarious. But you know, it's fun to run into them people. But you could imagine, like, you can't really do life with them, especially if, like, and this includes business partners. This includes friends.
This includes family.
This includes family, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do life with people when you're thinking on a completely different level, and they have not changed.
Yeah.
At all. They have not bettered themselves. They have not worked. They just
They're
remain
stagnant.
the same individual.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. They can do that. But that's not my problem.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not my problem. It's not my issue if I decide that I no longer want to do life with them.
Yeah.
I feel better than I've ever felt as far as cleaning out the bad shit, the negative friends.
You've done a lot with yourself within the last couple years.
I kind of feel like this move
really have.
this move to Texas is going to be like a final purge
Yeah.
of this shit that I've kept from a previous version of myself.
Yeah.
You're going to find that. So as you level up and as you go through life, and you're going to have like some baggage from that previous version.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm at a level right now where I'm just getting ready to cut out all that baggage. I'm
Yes,
getting
you
rid
are.
of it.
You are. You definitely are.
Because that being
And
said,
it
y'all,
feels
hold
so good.
on. That being said, guys, Thursday is going to be the book launch. I know you guys are listening to this on Monday morning. But Thursday, y'all, I'm going to be launching the book. I need all of your help to help me get to Amazon bestseller. I'm going to have some really cool shit. So we're working on a rollout of what we're going to do over on Thursday, but it's going to be some really cool things that we're going to be doing.
I am very proud that this book has finally ready to go.
It's only been a year.
And I'm not like saying this because I'm John's wife. Like, trust me, I'm probably one of his biggest critics. Do you think
She
I'm
be
one-
talking shit.
Well, I mean, listen, hey, I will honestly say that you and I definitely push each other, and I am very, very relentless when it comes to, like, I don't stop. I'm always pushing John.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Would you agree?
I would say so.
But I'm so happy. I'm like, this will be really nice. I can't wait till people can read it. My dad got a copy of it, and he's like really stoked about reading it.
Yeah.
We seen them over
It's
the
not
weekend.
going to be available till Thursday, though.
Yeah,
So I was able to get some. They're called proof copies sent to me.
yeah,
But that's just so we can proof them, which I'm glad that we did because there was a big issue.
Yeah.
And we fixed that, got that fixed.
but that'll happen.
And but I actually been having meetings over the last couple of days, really nailing down the book strategy and the book launch strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, exactly how we're tackling getting that #1 status on Amazon.
So how did it feel when you seen this?
Well, it felt great. I like it because it's a matte finish. So the book is a matte finish. And if some of you guys haven't seen the cover,
No, I'm telling you, like, how did it make you feel inside when you seen it?
it
When
was
you were
like
able to hold it in your hands, how did it make you feel
it
inside?
made me feel good. But it was like a year's worth of work,
Yeah,
you know, compiled into a book. And what really made me feel good is when I was skimming through the chapters and I was reading, and I was like, when I wrote this book, I was in the deepest marketing mindset that I'd ever been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get into these times in your life where you're really deep. And this time of my life, this season of my life, like my mind was so entrenched in some of the most in-depth marketing topics that I'm reading my own fucking book and learning shit.
Do you feel that, like, because during this time when you wrote this book was when we were going through all that shit together? Do you think it was kind of like therapeutic in a way to write this at the
I think
same
so.
time?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, a lot of times when you're going through like a traumatic situation
Yeah.
or an incident or whatever. I mean, we were just coming out of that, really. So when I actually started writing that book was the beginning of 2020. So we were just getting past that year and all of that.
To where, wait a minute, did you start it when you were just, that was when you had Eric as a coach though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the end of 2019 and going into 2020.
But maybe we were right on the whole thing of it being completely done, right? With everything? Is that when you started writing it?
Yeah, we were right at the end of all that shit
Yeah.
being done. Some of you guys who might not even know what the hell we're talking about, you have to go back to a previous episode where you can listen to where I got the shit beat out of me by the police
Yeah.
and went through a complete life change from alcoholic John to the John that you hear and that you know today.
Yeah. I will say definitely, like, since that happened and, like, your sobriety is, you're a different person. I mean, it's like,
I'll be like,
it's
up
night
with
and
hope
day.
and down with dope.
It's night and day. And I guess, like, when this finally came to, when this thing was done and we got these proofs, I was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this, like, forever. Patiently, impatiently waiting for this to finally feel this book.
Yep. So here's the deal, guys. We are going to be within 2 weeks. We are going to be driving down to Texas for our final descent. It's going to be on July the 11th.
I think that's that Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be on a Sunday, and we're set. We get the Airbnb set for that following Monday on the 12th. And we're actually going to be driving down our 3 dogs. John's going to be driving too, my son John. I'm going to be driving. I'm going to be hauling his car. He's going to be driving her car. He's going to have one of the dogs. We're going to have 2 of the dogs in the truck.
Please send some positive vibes. Just say a little prayer.
That's going to be a
us,
tough one.
'cause
That
this is
that
gonna
trip is going to be a tough one
Yeah,
because
this
we
will
got
probably be stressful.
yeah. One of our dogs is like really anxiety driven, and I think she'll calm down eventually.
Yeah.
And then we got another dog who is just our big one that's going to be in the back seat. It's going to take up like kind of like the whole back seat. And she kind of gets excited too. But again, I think she'll calm down. It's just going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting trip.
Yes.
And we're going to pack because we just came back from Texas last week. And
Oh,
last
that was
weekend or
so
Monday.
much driving.
Yeah, we
Oh,
drove
dear
straight
God.
down, and we ended up drove straight down on a Saturday. Ended up getting there on Sunday, and we stayed. Some of you guys who live in Texas, we ended up staying in Plano at the Legacy West over at that Marriott.
That's a nice hotel.
That's
too.
a very, very nice hotel. Oh, we also stayed overnight at the rest stop 2 nights in a row.
Yes, the one in Arkansas and then the one in Kentucky. And I don't know what's going on in the state of Arkansas, but y'all's rest stops are like dirty.
I got some dirty, dirty rest stops.
They dirty. They dirty. Kentucky's got very clean rest stops. So does Tennessee. Texas, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, their rest stops are on like a whole different level.
I like to sleep at Texas rest stops.
These other states need to like be getting on the ball, like following what Texas is doing, because their rest stops are just extremely
Yeah.
nice.
Well, you know, the thing is, when we drove down this time, again, I had my whole back of my truck was packed with tools. Then we had a U-Haul. And you think about that U-Haul situation. You know how easy it'd be for somebody just to come up there and snag that U-Haul and hook it up to their vehicle and just drive off.
While we're sleeping?
Well, that's why we slept in the truck.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is because, you know, you parking outside of them hotels in some strange city
Yeah.
just didn't seem like a good idea. And plus, I don't mind a little rest stop sleeping.
That's all right. I mean, we weren't too stinky. We were a little stinky, but, you know.
That shit did make me feel like I've been beat with a baseball bat. I think my back is still fucked up from it.
Well, you need
Like
a
I'm just
chiropractor.
like sitting here right now and my back hurts.
Why don't you call your chiropractor and go get adjusted?
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to do that too.
I just solved your problem.
So shit. We're about 30 minutes into this, y'all. I think we're going to go ahead. You got anything else you want to say before we bounce out of here?
Not really. I'm pretty good.
All right. So anyhow, y'all, I
good.
appreciate you for coming along on this Dr. Phil fucking Oprah
No.
couples edition.
I don't want to be no Oprah. And I don't
Some
want you to
Dr.
be
Oprah.
Dr. I don't want you to be Dr. Phil.
I'm Dr. Phil.
No.
She's Oprah.
No.
We appreciate having you along on this podcast. I'm Maury Povich. She's Jerry Springer.
I don't want to be Jerry Springer. Wait a minute. Wasn't you from Ohio?
I'm Jerry Springer. She's a stripper midget. We thank you for coming along, listening to this podcast. And as
fucked
usual, we're going to see you on the next one.
And remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.
Yay,
That's
yay.
still fucked up. Real.